안녕하세요. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the future tense in Korean and the different usage of the particle 에서 and 으로로. Let's start. Now, let's learn how to make the future tense in Korean. We're going to learn how to express be going to, be planning to, will, and would, may, or might for the possible situation in future. Where you talk about something which is already planned or scheduled to happen in future, you can use either 을 예정이에요 or 을 계획이에요. Yes, these are grammar expressions or compound expressions. I prefer the term compound expression because it's a compound of more than one grammatical element. You're going to learn about this again in lesson 6, but this final L consonant or 을 sound is an ending which is used to express the future, intention, possibility, assumption, and ability. It's an ending, so needless to say, it's added to a stem of a predicate. Where there is no final consonant in the last letter of the stem, you put the final L consonant to the last letter of the stem as a final consonant. And where there is a final consonant in the last letter of the stem, you add 을 sound right after. This 을 is not the object particle 을을. They are totally different things. This L consonant or the 을 sound is an ending, not particle. 예정 is a noun which literally means schedule. I'll explain why 이에요 from the base form 이다 is used here. But you don't need to know or remember that. You can just remember the entire 을 예정이에요 and others on this page as a compound expression, as a set. But just in case you're curious, you know 이다, 이에요, 예요 is used where you say A is B. And A and B should indicate the same thing. The ending 을 is the actual part that puts the predicate in the future tense. And 이에요 here is used to express what you are going to do is your schedule. Okay? That's all. The next compound expression 을 계획이에요 can be used to mean be planning to, because 계획 literally means a plan. Again, the first compound expression 을 예정이에요 can be used when you want to say you're going to do something, and next compound expression 을 계획이에요 can be used when you want to say you're planning to do something. Next, let's learn how to express will in Korean. The stem plus 을 거예요. This compound expression 을 거예요 sounds very similar to the English auxiliary verb will. So you can use this where you want to say something is expected to happen in future, or where you want to show your intention to do something, or you're willing to do something. This 거 sound is from the dependent noun 것 that you learned in the previous lesson. If you use the original form 것, 이에요 should be added. But 을 것이에요 is not really used. Well, you can still use it, but you will sound like a robot. 을 거예요 is not a colloquial form. It has become a legitimate compound expression you can just use even in written Korean. As you know, 것 or 거 basically means a thing, or it can also mean the thing or the fact. The action which will be taken is the thing which will happen. That's also why 이에요, 예요 is used in 을 거예요. Okay? Anyway, just think 을 거예요 sounds just like the English auxiliary verb will. Next, compound expression 을게요. This compound expression 을게요 is basically used to show your determination rather than intention. Where you promise to do something, or where you want to express that you will do something voluntarily, as if you raise your hand and say, I'll do it. Then you use this compound expression, 을게요. Please don't mix up these two. 을 거예요 and 을게요 are totally different. 을 거예요 is used to indicate the future or your intention, but 을게요 is used to express your determination. I know it can be slightly confusing. You'll understand these two better with more examples. There's an ending which can cover both of the usages. It's 겠어요. Stem plus 겠어요. But for now, please don't use it because this ending is a bit difficult to properly use. Next, where you want to refer to or express a possible situation in future, you can use this compound expression 을 것 같아요. The dependent noun 것 is used again. 같다 here basically means I have that feeling. So this compound expression sounds like I feel that or I have a feeling that something might happen. This 을 것 같아요 is used very often in a conversation because Koreans tend to try to sound modest by not showing the certainty even if they are pretty certain. Or you can also avoid being blamed by using this ending because you already expressed that you were not sure. So this is a super useful ending. Now let's see some examples. I'm going to go to Korea next year. Next year is 내년, which is a time-related noun. So you use the time particle 에. Korea is 한국. And it's the destination. So you use the destination particle 에. I, next year, to Korea. Go am going to, or am going to go, whatever. 저는 next year, 내년에 to Korea, 한국에 am going to go. The base form of the verb go is 가다. 가 is the stem. Because it doesn't have a final consonant, you add the future ending 르 consonant as a final to the stem. And 예정이에요. 갈 예정이에요. 저는 내년에 한국에 갈 예정이에요. I, next year, to Korea, scheduled to go, or going to go, whatever. If you want to mean am planning to go, 갈 계획이에요. 저는 내년에 한국에 갈 계획이에요. I am planning to go to Korea next year. Next example. I'll eat black noodle at lunchtime. I, at lunchtime, black noodle, it will. Lunchtime can be 점심 in Korean. It's a noun which indicates a point in time. So let's add a time particle 에. Black noodle, 짜장면. It used to be 자장면, but 짜장면 has also become a standard word since people preferred 짜 sound. 짜장면 is renowned Korean Chinese food. It's neither real Chinese food nor real Korean food, but very popular in Korea. I heard that it was invented by early Chinese immigrants. It's an object of the verb eat, so you can add the object particle 을. Let's add 을 sound since the former block has a final consonant. You can of course omit it in spoken Korean. 저는, if you ask me, as for me, if I talk about myself, 저는 at lunchtime, 점심에 black noodle, 짜장면을 it will. The base form of the verb eat is 먹다. The stem is 먹, and it has a final consonant. So you add 을 거예요, 먹을 거예요. And you know this 을 sound is not the object particle. 저는 점심에 짜장면을 먹을 거예요. I'll eat 짜장면 at lunchtime. Next example. Someone asked, who's gonna do the dishes? You raise your hand saying, I'll do. 제가 할게요. You cannot just say I will in Korean. You need an actual predicate. 저는 is not used here simply because the nuance of As for me, if I talk about myself or a nuance of comparing, is not suitable in the context. 제가 is absolutely more proper. It is me who's gonna do the dishes. 제가. Further, the question started with who rather than what. That's one of the reasons too. Who's gonna do that? It is me. 제가. The compound expression 을게요 is used rather than 을 거예요 because you used will here to express your determination and you want to do that voluntarily as if you raise your hand and say it. You can think it's a kind of promise too. I hate those people who use this ending 을게요 but never keep their promises. If you say 제가 할 거예요, it will sound more like you're showing your intention rather than your determination. I know it is hard to understand the difference between intention and determination. First of all, 제가 할 거예요 doesn't sound like you're making a promise at all. 제가 할 거예요 sounds more like you planned for this yourself and you're going to do that because that's your own will and intention. Okay? Next example. I might arrive in Seoul tomorrow. I, tomorrow, in Seoul, arrive might. 저는, tomorrow, 내일. 내일 can be an adverb too, so you cannot add a time particle 에. In Seoul. 서울 is the capital city of Korea. It doesn't matter which preposition you use in English. In, to, at doesn't matter. You use the destination particle 에 in Korean anyway. I think the usages of Korean particles are clearer than those of English prepositions. Is it just me? Okay, because I'm Korean. Fair enough. Anyway, 서울에 arrive might. The base form of the verb arrive in Korean is 도착하다. I know it's pronounced 도착하다 with a ka sound. You can just think it's because of the h consonant, which makes some consonants sound aspirated. That's enough for now, since I cannot teach you everything on this page, but we'll talk about this sound change rule later again for sure. The stem is 도착하. You might arrive. You're talking about the possible situation, thus you are definitely going to use 을 것 같아요. The last letter of the stem doesn't have a final consonant, so you need to add the ending 르 consonant to the last letter of the stem. And 것 같아요. 도착할 것 같아요. 저는 I, 내일, tomorrow, in Seoul or to Seoul, whatever. 서울에 arrive might. 도착할 것 같아요. 저는 내일 서울에 도착할 것 같아요. Now you have learned the present simple tense, the past tense, and the future tense in Korean. We'll keep using these tense elements and compound expressions from now on, so no worries even if you don't perfectly understand this now. Let's talk about this particle 에서 one more time. As you learned, this particle 에서 is used to indicate the place where the action takes place. Now we are going to learn one more usage of the particle 에서. This particle 에서 can also be used to indicate the starting point or the origin. Let's see the examples right away. I am from the Philippines. The typical answer to a question, where from or where do you come from? As I mentioned earlier, we cannot say I am from a country in Korean. So we say I came from a country using the verb come. I came from the Philippines. The word order is going to be more like I from the Philippines came. The past tense is used in Korean because the present simple tense is used only for something habitual, regular, or constant in Korean. 저는 from the Philippines. The Philippines in Korean is 필리핀. You know we don't have F sound in Korean, so we use the P sound instead. 필리핀. From the Philippines. The Philippines is the origin where you come from. So you use this particle 에서. 필리핀에서. Came. The stem O plus 왔어요 becomes 왔어요. 저는 필리핀에서 왔어요. Now you know both ways to say I am from a country or I come from a country. 저는 필리핀 사람이에요. Or 저는 필리핀에서 왔어요. If it's America, 저는 미국 사람이에요. Or 저는 미국에서 왔어요. Okay? Next example. I'm going to depart from Chicago for Seoul tomorrow. The future tense is used. The from Chicago part indicates the starting point. So you use the particle 에서 for this part. The usual order of the words is going to be like this. The subject I comes first, followed by the time-related word tomorrow. And the starting point from Chicago comes first, and the direction or the destination for Seoul comes after. The predicated part am going to depart comes at the end. I, tomorrow, from Chicago, for Seoul, am going to depart. I, 저는, tomorrow, 내일, from Chicago. Chicago can be transcribed Chicago in Korean. This is where you start your journey. So you add a particle, 에서. Chicago에서. For Seoul, this is the tricky part. What particle do you want to use? Some of you might be considering the destination particle 에. Maybe. People would still understand what you're trying to say even if you use the destination particle 에. But I would rather use the particle 으로, 로 that can indicate the direction and the destination at the same time. Why? Let me ask you first. Why is the English preposition for used here rather than to? Maybe native English speakers would say the same thing that I'm going to say. I would just say the particle 으로, 로 goes better with the verb depart. You set the direction towards Seoul and depart. The 울 sound of 서울 has a final consonant. So you add a 로 sound. 서울로. Depart. The base form of the verb to depart is 출발하다. 출발하 is the stem. The last letter 하 doesn't have a final consonant. So you add the ending 르 consonant to the 하 sound. And 예정이에요. 출발할 예정이에요. 저는 tomorrow, 내일 from Chicago, 시카고에서 for Seoul, 서울로 am going to depart. 출발할 예정이에요. 저는 내일 시카고에서 서울로 출발할 예정이에요. Okay? If you use the verb go, 가다, then you can use either the destination particle 에 or the direction and the destination particle 으로, 로. 저는 내일 시카고에서 서울에 갈 예정이에요. Or 서울로 갈 예정이에요. We've just used the particle 으로, 로 to indicate the direction and the destination at the same time. There's one more usage of this particle that you need to know. This particle 으로, 로 can also be used to indicate the device, means, method, means of transportation, material, and even the language. The easiest way to remember this is you basically think that this particle 으로, 로 can provide a meaning of using that thing. Let's check out the examples together. This chair is made of wood. The wood was used as the material. This chair, you can use the determiner 이, right? This, 이. Chair is 의자 in Korean. This chair, 이 의자. Let's add a topic particle, 는. 이 의자는 of wood. We're going to use the noun 나무 to mean wood here. 나무 basically means tree, but you can use it to mean wood as well. No problem. Wood comes from trees anyway. Using wood as the material. So you can add a particle 으로, 로, 나무로, using wood as the material. Made. Passive form is made is used in the English sentence, but let's just use the active form in Korean. You're going to learn about the passive forms in Korean later more specifically. Let's not think about it now. The base form of the verb to make is 만들다. The stem is 만들 and you add a past tense ending 었어요. 만들었어요. 이 의자는 나무로 만들었어요. This chair is made using wood as the material. Okay? Next sentence. I made this chair with my hands. Now this time you want to express that I made this chair using my bare hands as a tool. I, with my hands, this chair made. 제가, with my hands. Hand is 손 in Korean. My hands, 제 손. As I said, we don't really need to use plurals in Korean unless you need to clearly express that there is more than one. With my hands, which means using my hands as a tool, device, or means. So you add a particle, 으로로, to express that. 제 손으로, using my hands as a tool, device, or means. This chair, this is the object of the verb made. So you can add an object particle, 을, 이 의자를. Of course, you can omit the object particle in spoken Korean if you don't like it. Made, 만들었어요. 제가, with my hands, using my hands as a tool, device, or means. 제 손으로, this chair, 이 의자를 made, 만들었어요. 제가 제 손으로 이 의자를 만들었어요. Okay? Next sentence. I go to school by bus. School here is your destination, so you add a destination particle, 에. And bus is your means of transportation, so you add a particle, 으로로. I go to school by bus, which means I go to school using bus as the means of transportation. I, by bus, to school, go. Bus is just 버스 in Korean. 저는 버스로 학교에 가요. It's nothing, right? Last example. Peach is 복숭아 in Korean. Peach is 복숭아 using Korean as the language. Make sense? Peach in Korean. 복숭아 is. Peach is 복숭아. A is B. You're definitely using 이에요, 예요. Korean language is 한국말 or 한국어 in Korean. You have two options. Peach는 한국말로 복숭아예요. Or peach는 한국어로 복숭아예요. Peach is 복숭아, using Korean as the language. Okay? This is the end of Lesson 4 Part 5. Lesson 4 will be continued since there are still a lot of basic particles you need to learn. You will learn how to make negative sentences and sentences with adjective predicates as well in Lesson 4. I'll see you in the next lesson then. 안녕히 계세요.